Welcome to Adults Only Comedy Berlin. Today we have Tera Kilbride.
Yeah. What up, adults comedy?
Woo! Very happy to have you here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've known each other, what now, since, when did you get here?
2019.
2019.
Yeah, but I moved to Berlin twice because I was in the States for a while during lockdown, so yeah.
Yeah, and now you're sowing your seeds. That sounds weird. Sounds like you're ejaculating everywhere.
I kind of am ejaculating all through the town with my comedy.
With your comedy.
Yeah. Just sowing those seeds.
And you're hosting Sunday Slips regularly, right?
I've done it once.
You've done it?
Yeah.
In my head it was like...
A million times.
Yeah.
Big personality, Anna. Big person, yeah. So yeah, I've done it once, but yeah, I'm starting to host my own shows now too.
Yes.
Some stuff at the wall.
Yeah.
We're branding it as awkward comedy.
Awkward comedy.
Pretty on the nose.
Why, Tara? Why?
Well, maybe we'll find out later in the podcast. We'll see how this goes. So yeah, doing those, and then I'm also doing a show called Hot and Bothered, Comedy and Burlesque.
Comedy and burlesque. That is super sexy.
Yeah,
I love that.
I don't ask the comedians to strip. Don't worry.
I want to do a show where comedians have to strip during their sets.
Right, because that happened accidentally at your show.
It happens a lot at my shows.
Yeah.
Not me doing it.
Okay.
Not me doing it. It's always men taking off their shirts.
Right.
And sometimes pants, apparently. And
okay.
Yeah.
It was suggested to me by an audience member when I gave them the concept. They were like, well, you could do it as sort of like a strip poker sort of situation with like the jokes,
Yeah.
Like the more you're bombing, the more you have to
I reckon the more you're doing well for each real laugh. That way you encourage the audience
yes, exactly.
to be expressive. So
Yeah,
the better the jokes hit, like with each laugh break, you have to take off a piece of clothing.
Yes, that's way better.
Right.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
And sassy and sexy and amazing.
Yeah, I was talking about it with Julieta. We were going to do like a kink comedy.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and then... yeah, it's just nothing's happened with it because, like, I guess there's also a part of me that's like, oh God, like, how naked am I going to get on stage if I'm making this thing?
Well, you could. I'm thinking you could get pasties, right? So
Definitely.
then it could be like, totally.
I've always wanted to get pasties.
Me too.
Like, I've got rather big nipples.
Okay.
So, like,
Humble brag.
I don't know.
Well.
To brag. Like, I think if you've got big nipples, you're like, I got big nipples. Like, it's more of embarrassment.
It feels like it's a blessing. Well, like the areola or like the nip itself or both?
No, the areola.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, the nip, like, I haven't had kids yet.
Then you
so the
actually
nips,
need to get the,
I need, like, big pasties. Like, it'll be like, yeah.
Well, that sounds like our next hangout.
Okay, let's get pasties. Yeah. Where do you get pasties?
I want to get ones that are, like, ridiculous. Like the little top on, like, the hat that spins around like propeller. I mean, maybe not that ridiculous, but, like, I don't know. Could you make it like the nose of a dolphin or, like...
Oh, the nose of a dolphin.
Like, everyone... I don't know.
That's really good.
Yeah, something like that, where they can have a little personality to them.
Yeah, right? Little characters on the nips. I think... I don't know. What other ideas could they be? Like,
I don't know.
Like, I started thinking fruit, but that's not really weird. Like, maybe like they have buttons and they like you could like they could be like three little keyboards. Like, you could like play nip accordion. Nip accordion.
That's amazing. It's a really good idea.
Okay. Maybe I'll present that at the next stand-up. Startup stand-up.
Right. And you do little puppetry. Like everyone's heard puppetry of the penis and, we're just...
the boobies.
We're taking it back, sister.
Yeah, it's like... I just feel like there's... Yeah, I think there is more to be done with the boobs. We're not like boys where we're like doing the helicopter and like swinging them around.
Right.
Because that's bad for the tissue, right? And that makes them stretch. But like I feel like there is more like if you got like good pasties that had something you could maneuver your breasts into like funny things, right? Like, or if you drew on them,
works of art, really. Like cubism. No. You make like a Picasso.
Yeah. Or I was thinking like even like those little like flip books where like you flip the pages and it's like a little man that's running and you jump in and then go into you could do like you push the boobs into different
figurines. That's amazing. This is really good.
This is good, right? I think there's something here.
I would love it. I would love to do the strip show.
The strip show, yeah. I want to do it. I think it's a good idea. And like, yes, it's sexualizing people, but like, what is entertainment if not like, I don't know, a bit of tension.
Right. And I think it's empowering too. I mean, personally, just to be able to have your body on stage in that way.
Yeah.
Especially if it has like a funny element, I bet you get the...
You know what? I would love also to try and do I've always wanted to try and do burlesque. Like, because,
really?
like funny... nudity, like semi-nudity, like doing something funny with your body that's like awkward or like it's just so ridiculous that it makes people laugh. Like physical humor is something that I really would like to experiment a bit more with.
Right, where like your butt is doing like funny things.
Or like my thighs talk to each other, or like I don't know. Chicken wings, like bingo wing, the arm flab. Fuck yeah.
Yes.
Like embracing the ugly, like what society can deems ugly on your body, like using that for humor.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Like I also played around with like a drag king character, but he wasn't like a drag king. He was more just like like a what would you say? Like a bigoted. In my character, like my male character was going to be my twin.
Okay.
And he was basically going to be like a super misogynistic gay dude.
Right. I had a couple like drag characters, and we'll just bring it back to the whole sexy. Like there was a whole period of time where all I did was like sexy cabaret dances. Like we put together like mixes of pop music, and it was like at a time where I really needed to find that like sexual nature in myself, and it was so fucking empowering. We had one with 3 women where we all dove into a cake face first and then flipped up our hair and like kept dancing.
Oh my god, that's so great.
It was so fucking hot. And we were dressed in like little like crop tops. It was for a birthday party for this cabaret theater. It was a type of cabaret theater where people throw like PBR cans on stage and shit, and it was all just like really hot and really raw and totally punk rock.
Fuck yeah, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it just really got me back into that like state where it was really empowered. And we choreographed the dances too, but I mean, half the time we weren't quite on, but it wasn't about that. It was about like these fierce like grown ass women coming together to be like sexy and raw, and like just like the whole there's that book like Women Running with the Wolves or whatever.
Dude, that's my Bible.
Clarissa Pinkola.
Clarissa Pinkola.
It was like that raw, like feminine, sexual.
Very cool. So you've read, so Women Who Run with the Wolves is a book that I stole from my mother's library when I was about maybe like 18 or 20, and didn't read it. And each time I went to read it, I was like, I'm not ready for this. And then I remember the last time I did that, I was with my ex-husband, and I started reading it, and then I stopped, and he was like, why'd you stop reading that book? And I was like, because if I keep reading this, I will leave you.
Right.
And I did.
Yeah.
And then I read through that book, and like he was a classic Bluebeard, like the whole, there's so much, it's not all heteronormative at all, but it's it's just about, so this book is about re-engaging your wild woman nature.
Right. And finding all those like bones in the closet, and that like deep, raw, fierce sexual feminine, but also those like, the skeletons in the closet and the deep healed, like unhealed parts, and getting in touch with that like darkness and really embracing that as a whole part of your feminine being. And it's so fucking cool, because even I think amongst women, we like hide that not even hide, but we might couch it in like conversation versus like, I feel like that book really taps into like a very raw, energetic mythology of that. Yeah,
of like this, all the facets of what it is to be a woman, and those really, those deep kind of instinctual, connected with the earth, our cycles, all of that.
Ritual.
And essentially what the book does, just for people listening, is it goes through different fairy tales from around the world, and then analyzes them within a sort of psychoanalytical feminist perspective. By feminist, just more like, these are the things, lessons you can, things to be aware of in the world, and the dangers. And the wolf thing is really important, because like the way that wolves interact with nature, like exist, how they exist, it's very much, well, obviously they're wild animals, but like how they will, look around and assess all the danger, and they will like fight for their, their place, and they're young, and they will, there's lots of nice little metaphors or analogies or things that connect, with also how women, can be.
And different sides of different archetypes. Yeah. In a very Jungian way.
Yeah, exactly. And one of my tattoos, actually, the one on my left arm, is Baba Yaga's house, and that's from the fairy tale Vasilisa and Baba Yaga. And
cool.
Yeah, I got that because, well, there's a bunch of meaning in it. But yeah, that book, ladies everywhere. Check out Women Who Run with the Wolves.
Feed your soul.
Feed your soul, yeah. My best friend, I always talk about best friends, but I do have like several best friends. One of my best friends in Australia, she... I gave it to her, and then she's actually started a book club, and she's given it to lots of other women, and so she's now got a book club once a month where they talk about different chapters, and I am horribly absent because it's like on the other side of the world, and I'm busy and stuff. But it's a really, and I've given it to lots of other people. I've given it to like 3 people in Berlin as well.
Yeah, that was a book I ended up giving to a few different people as well. Speaking of like connecting with like books and groups, that was one cool thing I did over lockdown. Was I attended like a dream workshop or gathering, like someone who was studying more from like the perspective of like Judaism and mysticism. And so we would come and we would like share a dream, and we would all, there was a process. There was like 4 steps, and I don't remember, of course now I don't remember which one it was, but it was probably similar to like what you would do in like an art making process where like you ask questions, then they ask questions, and then maybe you highlight things that you notice, and then we do the interpretation. And then the person who takes that information then changes or ends the dream basically after they've received, 6 people's feedback.
Input,
where it's like, okay, what's the resolution of this dream? And as they're actually doing it, it was pretty, for lack of a better like hippie term, pretty alchemical, because we had like a moment of just really paying attention to that person and finding that resolution.
That's beautiful. I'm sorry, I was just taking off my jumper. I getting hot in here. I love dream interpretation like a lot. Like I think so my mum studied psychotherapy when I was in high school, and that's part of the reason why I started going to therapy.
Yeah.
And but it's like Jungian psychotherapy. So it's very much about just like deep, like delving, obviously naturally all psychotherapy does it, but like delving into the root feelings and maybe the original places where that started, but also looking at really just building tools for you to deal with your trauma and your and give yourself tools to move forward. So I bring that up because you were talking about dream interpretation, and my mum really encouraged me to always keep a dream journal, and we would talk about our dreams, and actually my stepfather would too. And I feel my thing is like, some people are like, oh, dreams are just like these like discarded photographs of memory being randomly processed in your brain, and it's like, dude, it's your subconscious processing stuff.
Right.
It's not
especially
just like
if they
random.
reoccur, because over time, like I have like guilty animal dreams, and I'm just like, what needs to be nourished? What is that suffering guinea pig coming over and over again? Like there's a side of me that like needs to nourish this thing, and and there's a lot of guilt, and it's energy I'm holding on from past experience. I guarantee it, but there's a reason it's coming back, because it's not. I mean. Arguably, there's probably some instances where it is just, oh, I saw that at the store. Totally. But the ones that have a feeling around them, those are the ones you need to pay attention to.
And I journal. Like, it's not a thing that everyone does, but like I try to write in a journal most days. Sometimes I get too busy, but I try to not just write when it's bad stuff, because I've got like 20 journals just full of like horrible depression in my bookshelf, and it's like, and I read like somewhere that if you write down something like write about a positive experience, scientifically they did a study, you remember that 10 times longer than if you didn't write it down. And so writing both the positives and the negatives, but on top of that, like I always keep this journal next to my bed, so that as soon as I wake up from a dream, I try to write it down. Because I've had so much insight from dreams, like dreams of really, by writing dreams down and then looking back at them afterwards and realizing what my subconscious is feeling and knowing, and then I get so much clarity in it, and it gives me so much closure or relief around decisions I've made, or understanding situations, and this is how I'm feeling.
Right.
Right.
Right. It kind of illuminates it in like a very like visual and an emotional way when you can see it. And I always find too, like when a dream is a reoccurring and like something has shifted in it, it's like, oh, thank God. And I might not have remembered it if I hadn't recorded it. Like what I do is I have like the phone recording, and so I'll speak into it. I'll speak into my phone because you have to capture it right when you're awake.
Yeah.
And so I'll either take a note or a voice recording. And one of the things I did in Minneapolis was I had a dream dance group with like 2 other women.
That's so cool.
And and we would share. It started off as like wanting to share dreams, then we made dance around it. And it became really powerful. These like things, speak like for an example, one moment but might be Angela had this dream where everyone was like throwing jalapenos at her and like and like saying shit, and then her response was just like, well why don't you make the chicken dinner? And she stormed off. And it was fucking perfect. Like
it's like an advertisement for like some kind of Mexican brand.
Right. But it was also like, just to kind of bring it back to what we were talking about, like a little bit about like dealing with misogyny and shit like that's what ended up coming out. We had a whole improv that it happened because we would meet in these rehearsal spaces and share dreams, but we were also trying to tackle misogyny. So we had this whole thing that was just us, dancing and saying shit that men had said to us over and over again.
Oh, yeah. That's great.
Yeah, like, do you want me to come on my tits or my face? My tits or my face? Are those the only 2 options?
That's so
I'm
great.
so busy. I'm sorry. I've just been so busy. Or, like, how busy are you? How busy? And we would do this gesture
of like masturbating.
Yeah. It was, so we were taking...
Oh, that's
we were
empowering.
taking the shit and flipping it on its head, which is what I observed in your comedy last night, which I appreciated.
Thanks. Yeah.
So
yeah, man, like we've got to do that. Like we have so much anger and resentment for the way that we are like how people react to us.
Right.
When by people, I mean largely men, but women can also embody that level of these words. I try to avoid them, but like that level of like patriarchal disrespect.
Yeah. And then we take that on sometimes. That's when it becomes the problem. I try not to anymore, but I think there's a way of like when you take it back and you give it back, that there's a way of
there's a therapy there, and there's an empowerment, and there's a processing, and there's a I don't know, like what do you when you're constantly like harassed by people, it's
right.
like, how do you deal with that without that becoming more and more embittered
toxic
inside you?
Right.
And so you've got to put it out, and like it's not going to be the last time that I like, once I get this joke really working, which is basically dealing with all the sexual, well, I'll call it sexual harassment, but even just harassment by men in public spaces, by making a joke out of it and trying to flip it and show, like, trying to make men also feel uncomfortable and putting it in this reverse situation. Like, I'll do this, but that doesn't mean that this is like, there won't be more times I need to process this, but
it's like an energy of righteous anger versus toxic anger, because toxic anger, whether directed at someone else or yourself, is not productive. But righteous anger, when used in like a creative way, there's a charge behind it. Like, being nervous or anxious or feeling that adrenaline, there's a charge behind it, which can make a good set or a good art piece. Same with righteous anger, if directed in a good way.
Exactly. And then having other people respond to that. Like, I think that's the biggest part of the therapy. Like, there's the expressing of it, but then it's people coming, like, I've had women come up to me, like, in my first year of comedy with this joke that I talk about, being scared walking home at night. And I make a joke about, like, it makes me more nervous when I walk home with a pizza, because what kind of rapist doesn't like pizza?
Right. And all the women are like, we know, we totally know. And the men are like, oh shit. Yeah.
And I've had women come up to me after the show and just be like, thank you so much for that joke. Like, people say you shouldn't joke about rape, but we need to laugh at the ridiculousness of how much we feel, like how we feel like prey, like how we feel, what's the verb? Like, not predated, but like, like in this we're not victims, but like we're put in this situation where we are scared because we know all these things.
How ridiculous is that?
It's insane. It's so fucked up. And like, yeah, and also the other thing about like turning this this anger, like when you can turn on yourself as well. It's like I used to in my early 20s, I started dressing in like I would dress down. I would dress like I would dress in the least flattering clothes often. Right. And it's not like just like, it wasn't to make myself less attractive, but I would dress like a boy to limit the reasons why someone would interact with me.
Right. And how terrible is that? Like, A, it's going to happen anyway. And B, to like lose some of your power or your divine like sexual person. Yeah. And I found like, I feel the same thing. I feel like that was cut off from me for many years because I lived in Minneapolis and street harassment, especially as a pedestrian, because I was always a biker and a pedestrian. And it's not very common that you take public transit exclusively. People have cars, but I was living the artist lifestyle and working at a bar, and that's what I did.
All I've ever done as well.
And I had to like strip off this very like pleasurable side of myself. I couldn't walk down the street feeling, and think that's partially where those dances came out. Like I did some work that directly responded to that. In performance art and in like a visual public art, but I think those dances were like, okay, I'm ready to take the side back now, and I'm ready to show it to people, and I'm ready to like celebrate it, and I'm ready to feel that in my own body again, so that hopefully I can feel it with people that I choose to feel it with, right?
Yeah, so, totally.
Yeah, it's interesting how it's like that it gets taken away.
Yeah. It's like I've almost been grateful for the face masks recently when I wear lipstick, because it's like, well, at least they can't see that part of my face. Yeah. Like at least it's one that it's like, oh, this is weird that I'm like, and I shouldn't, like, I don't want to be feeling like, I'm able to cover this part of myself that would get more attention. Yeah. But it's like, I'm, wearing lipstick, it's like, it's not about getting your attention. It's about me enjoying how this looks, and I can do that. And it's self-expression, and that doesn't, it's not an invitation.
Right.
It's never an invitation.
Yeah. I even felt early on, like it just to kind of, I'm going off on a little tangent, but
yeah.
But like when I was little, when I was very young, I grew up in like a neighborhood where you had to fight yourself off from bullies, and I'm starting to address it now. I feel like my comedy's just getting to a place where I'm starting to get a little more real again.
I'm excited.
Even in a very goofy way, but I'd stepped away from it because my performance art, again, was a lot about misogyny and this deeper shit. So I went to comedy. I started with, it's pretty, set up punchline. It's not so deep. But now I'm ready to get back into that. Yeah. And where was I going? Oh, you had to defend yourself from like bullies there was always a masculine and a feminine side. Like when I was defending myself from bullies, I used to wear a ball cap and a ponytail. And I was what was fucked up is that I felt so complimented when a guy's like introduced me as a boy. He's like, well, she's a boy, right? And he assumed, even though I totally looked like a girl, I didn't look like a boy as a kid, but because I was wearing a baseball cap and, like a t-shirt and some baggy jeans that I felt so hot in, even throughout high school, like I loved wearing men's baggy jeans and like a tank top.
It's empowering.
It's very empowering. And I also liked the very feminine shit, but that was much more loaded. I liked both, which says a little bit about my sexuality, is I loved both of those things.
Yeah. I feel the same way. Like, wearing like baggy jeans and it's not about hiding the body. It's like you can wear a pair of, like, I've got a pair of baggy jeans now that, like they're baggy, but you can see that I'm like, you can see my body still through them. And then like, just a t-shirt, and there's something very, like there's something equally empowering about that, but it's a different type of power. It's
like I could reach around from the front.
Yeah.
That's what that says.
Yeah.
No, but
and I could, and it's not. Another thought in my head is like, also like, I could get that hot, that beautiful, like tall, blonde, Scandinavian, like, I don't know, warrior female over there. Like I could hit on her. Yeah. But it's not just about dressing like a man, feeling like you can then objectify women.
Right. It's just a bonus.
But it's also like there's something in being like, I feel attractive even though I'm not conforming to how women are supposed to be.
Right. There's a separation there.
Attractive.
If you're going into like some sort of visual, there's a separation there versus if you're working from the inside out, which is like, what is my energy saying today? Like fucking heels today, or like fucking baggy jeans, or whatever the message is internally, and then you find the outer expression, which is so complex and nuanced and not visibly seen in most, you know?
I feel like more and more, like, I think every woman can relate to, like, what am I going to wear, you know? And even men do to a point, for sure. But, like, I have a very, like, I have so many personalities in my wardrobe. But it's all facets of me. But I feel more and more I really, like kind of like the wild woman. I really try and, like, I know what I want to wear.
Yeah.
Like, and it's it sounds so dumb, but, like, I think what you wear is a real expression of how you're feeling and, like, who you are to a point. And like, maybe, like, I go through periods where I don't like anything in my wardrobe and nothing seems to reflect me. But then I go through periods where I just feel like, oh yeah, like, this is exactly me right now. And, like,
oh, it feels so much better to take that time and do that intentionally. I think that was one thing I missed during lockdown. And now that that's opened, today's an exception. I'm just lazy, but
but that's how you're feeling.
That's how I'm feeling, is like very complacent. But no, but like when you go to, like, I go to Humana. This is sponsored by Humana,
dude. Humana has, like, I'd say a quarter of my wardrobe is from Humana.
When you take that extra time to be that intentional about how am I feeling and how is this gonna, like, it just makes a huge difference.
And I think we're, like, also it's another element. I think even before I was performing on stage, this was still, like, something that occupied me, like, how I want to present myself. But being on stage particularly, it's like, you need to feel confident and comfortable in your skin and what you're wearing. So it's an added thing. And you also want to be, you're an entertainer. Right. So you also want to be presenting something that's showing your respect for the sense of occasion.
Right, totally. Although, I shouldn't say this. There was a particular gig I wore shorts at a protest with recently that I shouldn't have. Anyway.
You wore shorts at a gig that you don't think you should have?
Well, whatever. No.
What do you mean? What's wrong with shorts?
I know. I wanted to feel more masculine. It was interesting. I felt like very beautiful from the waist up. I had a nice shirt on and nice makeup, and I really just wanted to fucking wear shorts.
Yeah.
So I did.
Yeah. Why do you think you shouldn't have?
It's a whole thing. We'll talk later. This is not for the public podcast.
Did someone say something? And
No. It's fine. It felt pleasurably defiant in a way. I'll just say that. So yeah, we'll talk later. I do miss costumes though. Like, just to bring costumes. Like, my performance art was all about that. Like, entire personas were created by wearing, like, a fucking blue fur vest and, like, booty shorts. Like, entire characters were made out of like, articles of clothing. And I used to have a rack like this when I had a little place in Minneapolis in my little dress up room with all the costumes. And I miss that. That's another thing I'd like to get back into. I feel like it's it takes more time, I guess, than doing comedy. I mean, maybe not.
Maybe not. I don't know. It depends on how extreme the costumes are, I guess. But when I moved to Berlin, I was very, like, felt pressured to fit the Berlin kind of aesthetic and, like, reduced colors. And, I've always been someone that's worn a lot of, like, vintage dresses. Like, I love like old-timey dresses and pairing that with, like, sneakers or doing stuff like that. And I've only really in the last year gotten, like, really reconnected with that part of my outward, like, what would you call it, aesthetic, personal self-expression.
Yeah. Good job. That was a lot of words.
That was a lot. I feel like it's hilarious that we're talking about clothes, but it is something. Like,
it is something.
It is.
We're talking about fucking with expectation and tuning into your inner.
Yeah.
I mean, those are important things, and how that manifests. I mean, otherwise it's not conscious. And then what, everything's a costume. Like, if we're gonna break it down, everything's political, everything's a costume. So if you're not thinking about it, then you're just not. But if you are choosing, especially as someone who you are presenting your body on a stage, and a body is a big part of it. We sometimes forget about that as comedians, but.
Oh, yeah, like, I think the lockdown really, like, doing all those online shows and then coming back onto the stage, it's like, my whole body is here. Like, my whole body is a part of this performance. And it's integral. Like, your body is, like, speaking to them as much as your words.
Totally.
If not more, depending on what you're doing.
Yeah, and that took a while for me to get back to that comfort level, honestly.
Yeah, me too.
Like, totally. Like, it's different, I think, when I was training in improvisation, because we were very focused on the body. Even a lot harder, because I have things with, like, my body on stage still. I don't know why. I guess it's different if I'm choosing. Like, if I'm doing a sexy dance intentionally, it's like, bam, bam, bam. But then I am like the object in the space, which is different than letting people come to you and observing you, which is a lot more intimate, which is what you're trying to do in comedy. So I've observed myself too, whereas like, okay, playing with different presences, and I still do not have it cracked or what I want to do. But
I think it takes a long time because there's also like so much of like stand-up comedy. It takes a long time. I think I don't feel anywhere near to the point. I feel like I've improved a lot with my physical presence on stage.
Right.
I don't feel like more aware, more like more flowing. Feel like I'm more expressive. Definitely just more comfortable. Yeah. But really, getting a grip on like using your physical form in the comedy as much as possible. That's something like that's a long way off to really be exploiting that to its greatest potential in like the least exploitative way, but like in a, like manifesting everything you could in a physical form. But also the reason why it's a bit tricky is because more often than not, we are testing new things. And so it's like there's so much importance on like rhythm and choice of words and intonation and how we present something verbally, that the physical comes much later.
Totally. I mean, the quickest way for me to get connected again to my body is through using my voice. And I've always been a lot more confident, like on a microphone, using my voice, and then I can get grounded in my body. I know for most dancers, it's very different. Like they're often terrified to speak on stage. That feels so vulnerable. And for me, it's the opposite, probably from some of the reasons we were talking about before. But yeah, if I get into my voice, and that's the first telltale sign if I'm nervous, I hear it. If I can really ground into my voice, my body will follow. And, to your point about using your body too, it doesn't always have to be like big. Like I think there's this tendency to like throw the shit at the people, and that can be very effective if you're trying to boost the energy. But to be able to develop all the nuances, like you look at a drag queen and they make you come to them, and then they make one gesture, and it just like blows your fucking mind. And then you see comedians that come on that really contain and make, they build tension, and then they just give a little. And you see people that have bigger energies. But to be able to have a full palette, I think would be very fucking cool.
Yeah. And just like, that like speaking of like giving very little, but then just doing one facial expression and it just like kills. Yeah. Or it just like it changes everything. Yeah. And
yeah.
Oh my God.
It's like French cooking versus like fucking, I don't know, like some sort of like,
well, Japanese maybe. Japanese is like so subtle, and then like maybe Japanese versus American.
Yeah, I was just thinking too. I was just like barbecue sauce. Sauce. Who wants ketchup and barbecue sauce? I did
fried chicken and cheese and yeah. You want blue cheese sauce with that? I have no idea what this accent is, but like those insane flavors. Whereas Japan is like, Japanese food is so much about like subtle. You can just taste that and yeah.
And people have their different flavors. I'm not knocking it. I'm just trying to like process like what I'm trying to figure out with my own body. I did it not recently, but before lockdown, someone introduced me as like, oh man, she's so physical. She's such a physical comedian. And I was intentionally trying to play with held back. And I was like, oh no. I don't even know who I am anymore. What's happening?
Man.
But yeah, just practice. Just being in your body. And my mentor in Amsterdam, who teaches dancers, actors, text artists, everyone, she always says, let the body lead. Let the body lead. And I'm now just at the point where it's like I understand my material enough that, and I'm still working on new stuff, but I feel confident to try to practice that, where I really let my body lead.
Yeah, and I think that applies to everything, right? Like, going back to Women Who Run with the Wolves, it's just like your body will tell you before your mind catches up always about everything, like how you feel in a situation. Like the other night I had this horrible situation with the guy I was seeing, and already like my body was like my body wanted to go inside and get dressed and leave. Like my body was like it was pulling me to go through the balcony window and get back into his room and get dressed and leave. And it was like, wow. And like my head was trying to catch up. It was like, okay, what are the pros and cons of leaving right now? What happens?
Your mental's trying to override.
Or just trying to figure it out, like, trying to override, but also just trying to figure out, okay, but why am I feeling this? Okay,
questioning.
and because there can be like let the body lead, but there can be old habits, like old psychological kind of responses that are based on old trauma and survival techniques that are outdated and don't serve you.
Absolutely.
So, but if you're feeling uncomfortable, you're feeling uncomfortable. And if you're wanting to leave, maybe leave for at least a bit.
Learning the differences between is this a trauma trigger or is this my intuition trying to keep me safe?
Totally.
That's what I work on a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big process.
Right. Totally.
Yay for trauma.
Yay.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Trauma and sex are very closely linked for me.
I think they're very closely linked for a lot of people. Not saying you're not unique, but no, I think they are, and I think probably, well, it doesn't have to be a gender divide or whatever. Yeah. I feel like
for everyone, probably.
Yeah, for everyone. Well, yeah, I don't feel for me, I don't feel I do not have trauma linked with sex. I've only had a couple, a handful of iffy consent moments, and then only a handful, and I've had that much sex the handful's very few, and how I've dealt with them, it's been in my later life.
It's a percentage situation, really. It's a numbers game. If you just fuck enough people, then the pot of the good stuff gets bigger and your trauma gets smaller.
Exactly. If
take Anna Bearish advice.
Those handful of bad consent situations are one grain of sand,
exactly.
And all the beaches.
I like your system, and I think I'm gonna use it.
But I'm very lucky, I guess, and I haven't had any worse. And so for me, sex is not an area of trauma, but definitely trusting
that's more what I was talking about.
That, as in not in a sex environment, but very much in a love, whether it be friendship or romantic relationship.
Right.
Trusting people is definitely very traumatized.
Or
there.
being very sexually attracted to very wrong people. I guess that's more what I was into. It was some of the hottest fucking sex is total narcissist, and it's horrible. I'd love to undo that tie. Yeah. I would love to undo that tie.
I also have strong connections to the I have been very attracted predominantly to narcissists for a long time. I've had some great people in my life that do not fit that, but some very big people in there, and I had recurring attraction to absolute narcissists.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And I think I don't know. How are you breaking that?
How am I break? Well, recently. Well, I don't know how I'm breaking it. Well, first of all, do
you think you are breaking the cycle?
Well, recently I was attracted to someone, and I brought it up to a friend because we both know this person, and she was not attracted to him. She's like, "What, Tara? I have an impression that he wouldn't be that good of a lover." And I was like, I didn't really get that impression. I was feeling more, and we both agreed that he was probably someone who's very kind and genuinely an interesting person. And
so terrible in bed.
Yeah, I don't know because I wasn't getting that. I was not getting that. So I don't know. But again, she has the same tendency. So I don't know if I'm healing or if I'm just not picking up on something that she's very aware of. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. So this is, she basically was he's not enough of a narcissist.
Yeah, exactly. He's not enough of an asshole and a total hot. And, so I took it as a sign of growth that I was choosing someone who wasn't the most visually stunning individual, but someone who I think might be really interesting. And I'm like, actually, that's kind of cool. But there was a charge there. It wasn't intellectually choosing someone interesting you think might treat you well, because that's fucking bullshit.
It doesn't work
there's
like
no
that.
Charge there, it doesn't work. But there was a charge there, and it was someone who was, not that flashy or grand in any sense of the word. And so I don't know if that's a sign. I mean, nothing was pursued.
Why not?
I guess. Well, I don't know. I don't really pursue people.
Really?
No.
Really at all?
Not really anymore. I mean, the last couple, again, this was a while back.
Do you show one card, you
a little bit. I just hi, how's it going? I think, but again, to bring it back to body, you know what I mean? To bring it back to body, I think there's something that happens where if my body feels something, I get a little bit I get like the kid in the schoolyard that's maybe I should just ignore this person in public, and maybe it's so fucking stupid. But it's hard.
It is. Yeah, I'm just a massive hunter.
I mean, the last time I did it, I had this whirlwind, cross continental love affair with someone. He lived in India. I lived in United States. We met in New York City. We met in Europe. That's just a really bad idea. But I did pursue that person.
But
and
you did. Okay.
I thought we had a lot in common. So I have done it before, and then
and obviously a lot of charge to I think you need a lot of charge to pursue someone.
Yeah.
And I like in my pursuits, like in my I've changed how I pursue. In my earlier days, it was definitely like I will pursue this and see if I can get what I want. Now I'm much more like not manipulative, but I'm much more like, like showing my interest in ways, but in no way pushing. If something happens, but I'm not going to be pushing for something to happen. There needs to be like push from both sides, like little.
You need to get something back, otherwise that's just it doesn't make. Yeah, a friend of mine was talking about this recently, like owning your intention, but not owning the outcome. Like the same thing if you compliment someone's comedy set or whatever it is as a friend, like just saying, hey, I really appreciated that. Like you're owning this genuine intention of like goodwill or compliments or flirtation or whatever you call it, but you're not owning the outcome. It doesn't have this intense charge behind it as to how you expect or need them to respond.
Totally. I think just acting with your intention, that's respectful of the fact that this is this other person. Like you can
they have choices.
They have choices,
totally.
exactly.
Yeah. And if you're not getting something back, then don't pursue it, because then that's fucking masochistic.
Yeah, totally. And I haven't done that for a long time, but there were periods where I did that for sure in my earlier days. But,
yeah, totally.
But
oh
man.
Yeah.
Love, right?
Yeah, there were times with this where I felt like we were pacing, and then he would like pull back, and then I would keep going, and that was masochistic.
Yeah.
That's masochistic.
Yeah, it's like I want this thing how I want it, and I'm not gonna let down until like give up until I get it.
Right.
And even if that destroys it.
Yeah, and to give them their consent to like want something different. You know what I mean? Like you have to like honor that in someone. It's problematic if they don't actually say it, but at the same time, you need to be able to read what they're telling you, with their actions, and accept that.
Yeah, and respect yourself by going, oh, look, this person hasn't, like, if I go back, this person hasn't once instigated.
Yeah, totally. Or, this person is probably calling me up because they need a place to stay in Berlin.
Yeah, that as well. Oof.
Yeah. But you know what you're saying? Yeah. Just following the reciprocity.
Yeah,
totally. Not in a calculated way, but in a realistic way.
Yeah, and just like checking in with yourself and how it feels. Do I feel respected?
Yeah.
Oh man, love. Yeah.
I don't know. We need.
Go on.
I was just gonna say we need to stick to dolphins on our titties.
Yeah, we need to stick some dolphins on our titties. I feel very empowered this week because I've realized that the love dynamic that I've been like the person that I've been seeing, it's just like I'm probably not going to be engaging with it anymore, but I feel so strong with what's happening in comedy at the moment, and I feel like the shows and like my joke writing, and I like some of the performances that I've had. Like I had a show on Tuesday at Laughing Spree that was like, I think it was maybe the best set I've like. It was insanely good for me, like a good feeling, like I watched it back, and it was like my comfort on stage, my delivery of this very new joke, and then just and it was a very hot crowd, absolutely a hot crowd anyway.
Been hot lately,
but it was like extremely validating, and then just with Derna Comedy being like full,
great turnout,
sold out, and then everything's just kind of trucking along, and I can see things opening up. It's like, you know what, this love relationship that I was starting and developing, okay, I don't think it's gonna work out, but I feel like I've been so busy with comedy admin, and I'm feeling very satisfied and fulfilled in all of this. And yes, of course, I would love in my life, but I am not like just nothing that's gonna be taking my energy away, and that's what this one has been doing.
That's the bottom line, is going where the energy is and celebrating that and being realistic about it. Yeah, and that's exciting.
Yeah, it is really exciting.
And that's when you can let something in. It's like you don't need it, But if it comes, cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you have your own energy. You're feeding your own force field with fucking art, comedy, friends, whatever it is.
Force fields, baby. This cute guy I called him a fanboy on a podcast 2 episodes ago. It's not a good word because he's actually like he's
Who is this fanboy?
He's no. He's actually started. He was doing the comedy stand-up school, and he was just coming to a lot of my shows.
Aww.
And he's not a fanboy. He's like a starting comedian.
Right.
He just never told me. He was coming to all my shows and just never told me that he was studying stand-up. And
Okay.
Anyway,
I think I know who you mean, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just not gonna say.
Right, because we love this person.
He's so sweet.
Yes.
And last night he said something, but basically he said something that then prompted me to say that I'm what was it? I'm making love with the universe. And I was like, yeah, I'm grinding down on the universe. Like,
he said that?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah. Why would you not? I mean, yeah, why would you not fuck the whole universe? Oh, yeah.
And then this guy in the audience was like, what does that look like? I'm like, just imagine the galaxy between my legs. Like, maybe you can't see it. Maybe some have already seen it before. But, yeah, I love that as a making love with the universe.
Well, and then it just implies like seasons too, where it's like, is this a full moon and I'm gonna go this way? You know, whether it comes to like delivering comedy or like what's actually happening. Because if you're making love to the universe, you're responding to like a period of rest in the winter and a summer. But it's more subtle than that, right?
Yeah. And it's also like,
which is why when
infinite.
I'm ovulating on a full moon, I masturbate on stage for my comedy sets. And I call that following the flow of the universe. I always have a good set when I'm ovulating, but I decided just to take it to the next level and give everyone a fucking gift.
Yeah, right,
you know?
right. I love ovulating.
Real nice. I love it too.
So intense.
I'm a big fan of it.
Right after ovulating, like when it's gone, I'm more aggressive than right before my period. Yeah, that's when my body's like, you lost another opportunity. Fuck.
Wow.
I'm so like that is when I'm my peak cuntiness, like right there.
Right.
Like,
interesting.
Yeah.
You're starting over. See, I feel like a new moon, like I'm kind of back into it, but I am just like, I can tell like by the level of my rage while riding a bicycle and wanting to run over like groups of young German girls, like taking up 2 or 3 on the bike road. I was like, there's a fucking system. Like we're in Germany, okay?
I love that.
You don't know. People on the left are going faster. People on the right are going slower. I don't care if it's an escalator or a bike lane. It fucks me up and I get so angry, and it's always right before that. So like my level of rage, if it's at a 10 or 11, I'm like, I know exactly what's
that's when you're about to get your period.
Yes, I'm peak bitch, and I am aggressive in public spaces.
Yes, me too.
I have flicked off people on the U-Bahn. I hear that's illegal.
Dude. I do that too. I've done that. I was walking, and this was definitely whilst just after I'd lost my egg.
Aww. We talk about ritual. I name it and I ritual it every month.
Oh my god! Imagine if you named the egg
Dina
every month.
Yeah,
that's horrible.
I don't. Yeah.
And it's also it's interesting.
I don't know.
I think that's a bad idea, but
it's a real bad idea.
It's funny. It's funny. Like there's a premise there. It's a
there's
premise.
Some sort of premise there.
But I was walking it was definitely just after I had lost whilst realizing I had lost my egg, I went to get on the train and this guy closed the doors.
Wow.
And it sent me, like, I was just like, ugh, I gave him the finger super hard and just like walked off into another door.
I just lost a baby, you fucker. I'm dealing with loss.
I'm dealing with loss here. Yeah, but it is really.
Show them your ovaries. Show them.
See these? They're bleeding. Not yet. They're not bleeding yet. But yeah, it's great. Like, and it's. I've been tracking my period now for 3.5 years with Clue, and realizing that it's right after ovulation that I am my most volatile. Like
maybe that means. Maybe that means you were born to bear children, Anna. Yeah. Just kidding. No, because I don't feel like I've never, nothing has ever, the clock has been off forever. Like I was just this little girl.
What do you mean the clock has been off forever?
Like I was never one of those little girls who ever fantasized ever about having children. That was just not in my biology. I mean, you could chalk it up to like, family dynamics not being so great. But I do think there's something there where it's like hormonal, where at some point you're like baby. And I felt more nurturing in my life, like, taking care of children, even doing mental health stuff and developing like a capacity for being very nurturing and like loving and deep. I definitely possess that. But the whole like wanting to actually have children has never been a part of anything impulse in me.
And still no.
Still no, never.
I wish like I would like that.
Yeah.
But it's been definitely on my mind since I was about 25, where I was like, I think like my body wants this, and then I had to really like, I spent a lot of time thinking about it, whether or not it is something I want, and it informed a few of my breakups, because I was like, if I do want kids, this guy should not be a father.
Right.
And then it also is the reason why I was so, like, I was really interested in working with kids when I realized that was something that could give me stability in Germany, because I felt like I wanted them, but it was like, am I good with them?
Right.
And then working with them, I was like, I am really good with kids. Like, not to brag, but like I've got a lot of love, and they feel it, and like that energy. Like I feel like I had a good rapport with all like 85 kids in the kindergarten.
I got the biggest nipples. I'm good with kids. You heard it. You heard it here first.
Oh my god! This is not an advertisement.
This is an advertisement. Just kidding. No, it's fine.
Shit.
You're wonderful.
Oh no! It's like objectively big nipples and good with kids. All right. Oh my god, that's I'm blushing. I'm embarrassed.
It's a great combination, and I'm just teasing you because like you're wonderful and like amazing in all the ways.
Oh man, but it would make it so much simpler if I didn't want kids. Like then I'd just be like, all right, cool, focusing on my comedy career, focusing on like, you know, like, and I'm 34, you know, like I'm not worried right now. But it would just like hearing you say that you've never had that urge, that drive. It's like, I'm a bit envious.
Right. You could freeze your eggs.
It's about 4,000 euro.
Ooh, about that.
Yeah, about that. Actually, I heard it was someone from the UK that did it. It was 4,000 pounds.
Jesus
so it's like,
Christ.
that's a comfortable 5K.
Right.
And I don't have that.
Right. I will say, like, and maybe it is a different thing, like body, like I have had the impulse to nurture, and I've thought about adopting, because for some reason there's a big part of me that just loves the shit out of someone who's been dealt shit in life, because I resonate with that. And so there's a deep need for me to help people in a nurturing, healing way, but I already do that. You know?
It'd be great if you could get paid to adopt. Like that could be a job.
I think you can in some places, but I don't. Yeah, I'm not gonna look into it again. That's a full-time thing, so I'm not seriously considering it.
But that would be like, I would like, instead of having my own kid, like I would like, you know, like getting a dog, but getting paid to get that dog. This sounds terrible.
Oh,
like
God.
if you know, like being a parent for someone, you could get paid by the
if
state.
you have a kid around that you want to kind of get rid of, Anna's a great like dog sitter, and she's got big old titties. She'll do great.
The titties aren't big. It's just the nipples. Come on.
It's like a third. What are we talking percentage wise? Like a third
nipple.
5/6.
Yeah, I'd say it's like a third
Was
nipple.
it?
Like,
Okay.
You know, it's pretty.
Have you ever seen someone? Okay, so one of the biggest assholes I dated actually had a third nipple.
I'm meeting and hearing like there's someone that I know in Berlin that has a third nipple. I can never remember who it is.
Right.
I think there's two people. There's two people with third nipples.
They should probably get together. No,
they
I'm just
should
kidding.
and be like,
and
rub their nipples.
That's like body shit. But you know,
it's not body. It's just interesting.
It is interesting. It was like a little thing.
Where was it? Was it under?
It was kind of like in like the abdomen, like, you know, rib cage area.
Did it give them stimulation? Like, were they
stimulated
by it?
I only fucked him once, and I
I'd have been all over that third nipple.
Right, you would have been like, you would have suckled on in.
Dude, I would have been like flicking it and
he also
tickling
had like
it
a really long
it.
beard, so I was like really playing with that and stuff. Like, I'm not a beard person.
Is there a fourth one?
But I was I was like digging around. I like made a nest in there, and I just like.
I love beards. I love body hair actually.
I do like some body hair. I'm not gonna lie, like chest hair. I like rubbing my fingers into that fucking shit. That's exciting.
It's so much fun to play with. I find hair so much like the guy that I was seeing had the most beautiful, like the softest armpit hair. Like I would just pat it until I noticed him uncomfortable with how impressed I was. But I was like, don't ever change this. Like it's
My Little Pony.
Yeah, it was the softest hair. It was like a baby's hair.
Wow.
It was so beautiful and soft and like this blonde, like almost ginger but blonde. It was I love a chest. I'm happy with back hair. I like and beards. Like for a long time, like every guy that I was ever with had like big
beards. Butthole hair?
Oh yeah, I don't care. That's fine. Like I'm happy with a guy. Like if I'm gonna suck balls,
right? You got to be cool with a lot of things. Then
it's usually they're just a bit sweatier when they've got hair, and so usually the flavor profile of a hairy ball sack,
right?
It's a bit more intense.
I'm a bit more particular about my hair. Like I love good chest hair, but like the whole shoulder hair thing, I get kind of gross by that, which is like it's not really fair. And maybe if I was with like a person and I was really sexually attracted to them, I would grow to enjoy it. But historically,
you might not be sexually attracted to them.
No, not
because
with
of that.
Not with the shoulder hair. And I'm not like a beard person. With that guy, it was kind of hot. Again, it just depends. Like.
It depends on the charge.
It depends on the charge.
Yeah. I I just don't have, and I wonder if there's a part of me that's like, I like body hair because that means that they can't say shit about mine.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
It's like, dude, you want me to shave? Look at that. Look at that back. Like,
yeah, totally.
Oh man, like I remove my body hair because I don't know, like I'm just not strong enough to deal with the criticism. Really, that's where I'm at.
I started shaving my legs when I was in 3rd grade.
Me too. I started shaving my legs. I think it was when I was in grade 6, so a few years later. But I was self-conscious about my upper lip, my moustache, because my brother used to tell me I had a moustache. So I started waxing that also when I was like 12.
Yeah.
12.
Yeah, that's young to be like, I'm gonna go through pain to feel.
Yeah.
I mean, I do it now for myself. And that was when I was in 3rd grade too. And, I actually give my mom a lot of credit for allowing me to, because that was a choice. That was something that I wanted to do. The mustache thing felt kind of shamey, but with the legs, I really wanted to feel smooth and clean. And I still, to this day, I love it. That's one feminine thing I love.
Yeah. My leg hairs are just, if I'd never shaved, I would love to go back. It's such a lame use of time travel, but I would love to go back in time and just not remove any of my body hair and then fast forward to when I'm 25 and see how that would look. And the thing is, the way that my leg hairs grow now, it's like they're just really sparse, straight, long black hairs. Like it's not
versus soft and fuzzy
versus like soft, like tapered, like that really, like that soft armpit hair that guy has, like just that really just soft, light, fair, ended, wispy,
right?
I would love that, but they are really like a Chinaman's beard, but like super sparse, like
a Chinaman's beard.
Going through chemo, because they're just like really not.
Folks, if you know a Chinaman going through chemo, please do not be offended.
No, totally. I agree. But like, he would agree.
Yeah, he'd be into it.
He'd be like, that is my, like almost like a head of hair, where it's like it's
different.
So I do like removing my leg hairs. I do like when I have my super like soft, bald legs. I think my bald legs do look lovely.
Well, and the hairy legs can look lovely too. Like I have a friend from like 10 years back in Minneapolis who's been doing it for years and years and years and years, and it got back to that soft point. And it's hot. Like that's her whole thing. Like her husband's like, fuck it. It's like to bring it back to different types of attraction, like into it. And she loves it. She just feels like the fucking best with that shit.
Yeah.
But it takes a while to get it back.
I only did it for like, it was a year and a bit. It was a solid year of not removing my leg hair. And I really enjoyed, like, I felt very empowered, and I loved feeling the wind. Like breeze through the hairs, like the way you can feel the wind on your legs when you have leg hair is something entirely different.
It's like just meditating into a field.
Yeah, it's just like you can like hear the grass, but it's your leg hairs. It's... Yeah, but no, it's fine. I do want a big hairy man. That would be nice at some point.
I like both. I mean, I like baby face, like little. Kind of queerish baby face, like big. I'll have all kinds of tastes.
Yeah, me too.
Depends on that charge.
Exactly, I agree.
Which right now there's no charge.
There's no charges anymore. Just unhealthy charges in my vicinity at this point. But right.
Charges towards other things in your life that are going really.
Fucking lovely. Lovely. All right, let's ask. Do you have anything that you meditated on that is very specifically within the realm of adults only? And if you don't, that's cool.
No, I think some of the stuff we already kind of talked about.
Yeah. Nips.
Yeah.
Big
nips. Yeah, sexual attraction to funny people. Yeah.
Oh, how's your bisexuality? Because I was on the train.
How's my bisexuality?
Yeah, I was on the train last night. Night before last, and this woman got on, and she had this I was just very attracted to her. And I don't have this that often. Like, I think it's once every 6, maybe once a year, I see a woman that I'm like, ooh, and it speaks to my clitoris, and and I'm like, and I feel very much in those moments. I definitely feel I don't know, like a dude vibe in me that I want to, and I pursue it. And I've pursued a few women, and like there was one woman once at one of my shows. She was there with her boyfriend, and I did not give a shit about that boyfriend. I like at one point, like I was contemplating asking her to come into the toilet cubicle with me. Like that's where I was at on it, and she
was strong.
It was very strong, and it's the occasional woman that really, like, there's a charge for me. There's like an animal charge in me, and I feel very much like like lesbians don't need to have like the more masculine one or whatever, but I definitely feel this strong lesbian vibe in me of like, and I feel like the dude in that dynamic. I'm not attracted to, I don't know. Anyway, this woman was a bit androgynous. She had this very like Scandinavian kind of structured face, or just like maybe Eastern European, I don't know, blonde, very tall. There was something quite masculine in her structure, actually. Right. But yet I felt duty in that moment. Right. Duty sounds like pooey. and so it was cool feeling that.
Got so excited I made a duty.
It's doo-doo, baby.
When I see a pretty girl, I get nervous and take a shit.
Luckily, it's just once a year. So.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so like I do feel like I don't feel like it's a accurate description of my sexuality to say that I'm bisexual, but I definitely do get attracted to women every once in a blue moon, and it's very strong, and I haven't had the opportunity to act on it. Like there was another person who I was really into, but I never acted on, and because I found out she was too young, really, and I was like, okay, I'm not.
Well, it's confusing when you don't act on it, because I have distinct points in my life, mostly in my early 20s, with two particular women friends that I can identify, and we were all just like, we would go to her art gallery and smoke a lot of weed and like hang, like things were like very like open. This was before some of the other strong connections, like real strong connections, and there was two women that I know I was attracted to, but I don't think at the time I really had like words or understanding for like what that was. And it's only now, actually, we're talking like maybe 6 months to a year ago, that I was like, I feel like I was really attracted to this woman. And I I did a weird thing just for my own personal experiment, not because I was trying to reach out, but I looked at this woman's Facebook profile and I was like, yeah, I'm like attracted to genuinely attracted to her.
Check in if you were still feeling like that.
And I was like, yeah, there is something there. And it's only probably happened less than 5 times with different people. There was also this person that I had met when I was doing mental health work, and we crossed paths for like 2 seconds, and it was a very unexpected thing where I felt a charge. So it still happens, but it's not very often. Like it's like years between.
Why is it like, it's interesting because it's not like there are more men than women, and it's not like it's just strange that it's so
very strange.
Like I can be very quickly drawn to a man, and regularly, like different men.
Hundreds and hundreds of hundreds to get that percentage down to the bad experiences. You gotta pick the good ones.
But then the women, it's like, and I also have this other type. So now I used to think it was only with women of Asian descent that I was attracted to.
Anna, just kidding.
Well, there was a Indonesian girl that I was very attracted to in high school, and then later there was a Japanese woman, and then there was this one at this bar who I can't even remember really. Like, she was like very different, like blonde, and this very different look. And then this woman last night, 2 nights ago, who was like blonde, kind of this like, I don't know, like Estonian or Polish, like a very kind of like elvish,
Wow.
but masculine elvish. She was
Right.
wearing a mask. Like, I don't even know. She might have had like really fucked up teeth.
Might have been Orlando Bloom, you know?
Yeah, something like that.
Levels.
So it's like, okay, so I've now got these like two different,
Yeah,
which is interesting, types.
which is same with men actually. But yeah, to what you were saying, like you felt more like the masculine. Like the women that I'm thinking of were very like feminine. This woman was like part Puerto Rican, and she was very like sweet and spirit. Like I mean, everyone was in love with her, right? But I definitely was, and I did feel like, you know, even just in physical stature, I was, you know, the taller and the more. But I felt that way. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. Like, I am absolutely not close to it. I feel like the last 5 years of relationships, I'm like, I'm not a triggered lesbian, you know, like it's not like I've just had so many bad, like I haven't been traumatized or well, I've definitely been traumatized, but it's like, I still am very attracted to men, but I would really like to, and like, I'm really open to a relationship with a woman when I have that charge, and if something happened, I think that would be so interesting to experiment with.
Yeah, absolutely. And even
experience, not experiment. Like, it doesn't have to be like, ooh,
right,
just from afar. Like, no.
And I've never had the experience where I've been the more masculine one, because well, there was one woman that was more like tomboy, gender bendy that I was attracted to too. But to bring it back to your point, like one of the strongest relationships I had was a man who was very femmy, like very, like people thought he was gay all the time. That was just his thing. He was just like, he was somewhere on that gender spectrum, and I just thought it was the hottest fucking thing.
I've been with a lot of men that are like that, actually.
Oh, and I loved it. And a friend of mine, you know, turned to me, we were working at this queer art space. He's like, you know, you guys are in a queer relationship, right? And I hadn't really thought about it. You know, I was like, interesting. Like, maybe we are, you know, maybe this.
Interesting.
I mean, this was someone who like straight up like, was very, he wasn't just being facetious. Like, he studies queer theory and stuff, but it felt like we were playing with these energy roles that were different and not hetero.
It's really freeing. I feel like the person that I saw, a very unhealthy relationship in hindsight, but this person that is now a she, and it was very like, she's much more kind of like, we could play, you know, it was more like there was this fluidity between, I can really be that masculine part of me today, or that just like, I don't know, that different, I can be that today, and then tomorrow I can be super femme, but like, and we could both do that. I
want to be the big spoon and the little spoon, depending on the day.
Yeah, exactly.
I really want that.
Me too. And like, I'm so often the big spoon with these like monster men. And it's like,
you try to cuddle up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the gift of like queer culture and queer politics in general, is that it opens things up for that type of play. It's just like a regular part. And I think sometimes we forget when we're in more normative situations that type of play and fluidity is like, can be a huge part of life in general, fucking the universe.
Have you ever used a strap-on?
No, but I want to.
Yeah, me too.
Really bad.
But I want to use it with a woman, I've decided. I don't want to use it with a man.
I love watching, all the porn that I like, whether it's men or women, queer women or gay men, is generally always queer. And so with the women, it's involved that. And I definitely want that.
Yeah. That's definitely the porn that I've been watching more and more, is just like lesbian strap-on stuff.
Yeah, totally. I'm into it. Like, and gay men too for some reason, but I think with the women more, but gay men too. I mean, I love dicks, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, me too. I haven't explored, I've never masturbated to gay porn. To male gay porn. But like just a bunch of lesbian stuff for sure.
Yeah. I mean, that can be really strong and powerful. You know, there's a place in
I just feel excluded watching gay men porn.
Oh, really?
I'd feel like there's no place like without the vag where am I in that? There's not enough. It doesn't reflect me enough.
It's more physical. I wouldn't say I'm always a physical person, but I think I'm just responding to that energy rather than seeing myself in the situation. Whereas with the women, then I could see myself in that situation. I could see myself being with these women. Whereas like the men, I feel like I'm watching something really hot and just responding to that energy. If that makes sense.
Interesting. Yeah. I'm definitely like, needing to see myself.
Be involved,
But that's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah. Which is like, it's like a different type of, it's not quite like straight up objectifying, but it's just like, watching
watching,
it's a little more voyeuristic. And then the other one with the women is just like, oh, I think I might have a crush on this one. Like,
yeah. Very cool. All right. Well, do you have anything you would like to plug?
Yes, actually.
Yes, please.
I don't know. When is this coming out?
Sunday.
Okay, cool. So we have time. Hot and Bothered, Comedy and Burlesque is coming to Space Medusa on Friday, July 30th. We have an awesome lineup. It rotates every month, but we have a few burlesque acts and a lot of comedy acts. And that we might open up to a more different type of comedy too. But for now, it's stand-up and burlesque, and it's a nice mix. And it worked very well. We sold the house, so if you want to get reservations, do it now. And we're also doing that on September 3rd, which is also a Friday at Space Medusa.
Nice.
And at some point, dolphin titties. And puppetry of Anna's massive areolas. But no, I like that idea for the show, and count me in if you want to produce that strip comedy. I mean, if you just called it that, that's like a marketing
boom, man. Like how easy would that be?
Easy, yeah. You just cash in your pocket. That's what that is.
No fucking Facebook ads.
No ads.
just accidentally say it.
Just whispers. Yeah, exactly. You say it at a Neukölln bar and the house is filled.
Fuck yeah. All right, so that has been Adults Only Comedy Berlin. I do have shows. Döner Comedy is back, guys, Wednesdays at, it's called Baghdad Restaurant, my Ex-Burger, or my Kreuzburger, on Schlesische Straße 2. And then, and Grindhouse is still going, and So it's been so much fun to have you, Tara.
Yeah, thank you. Ooh, one more quick thing. Fourth Tuesdays we're doing at the Wall. It's an open mic that is for the comics, so experienced and newcomers are welcome. Show up to sign up. And it was amazing talking with you.
Yes, cool.
So good.
So happy. All right. We will see you next time. Goodbye.
Yes, sounds good. Ciao.